Welcome to Real Table Talk Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving you real-life conversations by real friends who will always give you 100% real talk. Stay tuned.
So we're back and we're still talking about friendship, and we're here to see what else Aunt Fancy has regarding friendship, right? So it's my turn to pick another question.
Yes, the turn.
Look, she asking, but it's my turn to pick another question.
Listen, I'm trying to keep them on track. I'm trying.
She the real Actually, you the real better.
Oh no, Jeanette, you really.
Sorry, I put this one back in by accident.
See,
why she got her finger in my bag? That's because we are an hour behind.
Okay. That's why you're not supposed to plan nothing anyway.
I didn't. We just had this conversation.
Okay, why you don't like that question?
It's the same
She took out two questions earlier. And we only
but I don't miss anything.
Would you like to review them?
I just don't want anybody to think cheating.
Those were the same questions. I put them back in. They told me not to put them back in. I thought I'd take them out. So now here we are. The next question. Ready, ladies? Okay.
I'm gonna need more of my glass.
Ooh, this is a good one.
That's on my glass.
Your glass is fabulous. This is a good one. I don't even have no answer for this.
Hurry up, read it.
Okay. What do you do when you have a long-term friendship with someone and you both have children who want to be in a personal relationship? Dun dun dun. Do you feel like, hold on, there's more to the question. Do you feel like they are more like cousins, or do you let them live and love?
I say
you
let
whoop
them
their ass.
Why would you whoop their ass?
Cause that shit don't work. Listen.
That's your friend.
Listen, man. Who got time to be watching the kids and make sure they ain't in the room fucking? Because it depends on, having sex. I'm so sorry.
Doesn't it depend on the age, though?
No. Because if the moment, so you know why you probably thinking that way? Because you have a girl. So I've raised a girl, but now I'm raising a boy. So my male child trying to date Janelle's daughter, I'll be like, because he's not mature. He ain't gonna probably do right at this point. I don't want him messing up my friendship with her.
So it's a different perspective. It's not about the kids.
Yeah.
It's not about the kids. Yeah. It's about the parents or the mom.
And then I gotta watch him and make sure he's not doing something bad to your child, or
so that's a good perspective.
Be intimate with her. He's a
but that's a good perspective. That's a good perspective because initially when you first asked the question, I was like, let them love, let them live, whatever it said. Yeah. And then when you say, and I have actually thought about that too. Like if my friends' kids married my kids, now you and I know I complain. Lord knows I be complaining about my husband. But how you gonna complain about your husband to your friends? Wait, how does it work? Your friend's child, right? So you better not talk about my child, right?
But it's even deeper, and I guess maybe I'm more sensitive to that question now because dating someone with children that are the same age as your teenage child, and they hang out together. So if Hunter, I'm supposed to say his name.
Don't say his name, but it's okay. Everybody know your son's name.
Okay,
and it's your son. But we did say we wasn't gonna say nothing about kids.
Hoppo. So if Hoppo decide he is now, I'm trying to figure out now. I was like, what? If baby H, I'm saying teen H decides, because I'm dating someone and that person has a opposite sex child of the same age, so I'm gonna call her teen girl. Right, so a teen girl, and
let's say if my son dated your daughter.
So if you and I are in a dating relationship, right? So that even intensifies it, because now we all hang out as a family.
See, and then that's different.
And then because the reason why I'm saying this is so intense is because the teen boy has friends. So if his friends are coming over and now they like one of his friends, you know how intense that can get. You're like, whoa.
So if her son and my daughter were dating or trying to date, but then her son brought his friends over, what if his friends tried to holler at the daughter, my daughter or whatever. So it just creates unnecessary.
You gotta constantly watch them.
Yeah, I mean, I think with somebody that you're dating, you kind of want the kids to act like siblings. I think this is a little bit different.
No. We're talking about us.
The sibling. Well, no.
She expanded the question.
Oh,
no, you're dating someone and then they have a child.
That's a whole different question. You done added
No, and I'm saying that, which makes that question for me even more intense.
I see.
Because even if you're concerned about an outside child. So let's say him and I go on a date and we leave the kids here.
Yeah. Well, that's
he can't have company. Well, what makes you think though? Because if you and your girlfriend get together, and we get together all the time, and we on trips and we do organizational things together, and then our kids, we thought they act like cousins, and now they liking each other. We can't be drinking no wine. We need to make sure they ain't somewhere doing something they ain't got no business.
So for me, this really
it takes away the comfort of the friendship.
To me, it really depends on the age. So I absolutely agree with you if the children are like still in my home. But like if they were adult and grown and they met each other, I can manage that. But that when this age, when you gotta, like, I'm gonna be mad if your child hurt my child, and
I think you're gonna be that way regardless of the age. You can't say that example.
Yeah, but I'm saying
not doing what they're supposed to be.
Right, but I said, but for me, if they were older, I'd be less inclined to be in the middle of it. But you can't help but be in the middle of it if they're a child.
Okay, so for me, I think it doesn't matter regardless of the age. I'm still gonna be hurt if your child did something to my child. Not that I'm in their relationship. Of course I'm not in their relationship. But if my child is on my shoulder crying about something your child did, it might make me look at you differently as a friend.
As a friend, yes. It's gonna be a natural.
Why you ain't raised your child?
But not even that. I would be thinking, but your son knows your daughter knows my son. So why would your son treat my daughter like that? And they been, you know what I'm saying? It's all of those other pieces that you just can't control.
So we all concur.
I'm reneging on my first. Let them live in love.
So we all concur. It's a hell no.
Not if the if the friendship is not that important, then I guess it doesn't matter. But if the friendship is important, I would absolutely
and
not.
There we go with that word. Y'all be using that friendship word loosely.
Well, if there's a reciprocity there. If there's a relationship that has reciprocity.
If that's your good girlfriend versus.
Well, like is this a giver or a taker?
All right, I'm moving on.
Yeah, I'm not even going to like that question. Only because I didn't have the right answer for it.
I'm going to go first on this one. That's how she going to do. Anyway.
Not that one.
Okay, so I haven't read it to myself yet. Okay. I don't even know if this is complete. If I claim you as a friend.
How you know if you spend somebody's question?
Go ahead, babe.
I was just at first glance. If I claim you as a friend.
But you said you didn't like this other person.
Right.
I said I
because she couldn't answer first.
Right.
And I only said that because it didn't have a period. If I claim you as a friend.
Ain't nobody gonna watch our shit. Nobody gonna watch this shit.
If I claim you as a friend, do I need to check in, be involved in your daily life to stay your friend? I think if you're my friend, that it's your family.
I understand what they're saying. Does a friend have to be? No, I know what they mean. They're asking, do your friends have to be in your life all the time, constantly, for them to be considered a friend? Because for them, they treat their friends like they treat family. I am the worst about that. I am the worst person about staying in contact.
Start over.
I don't like to.
Start over. Tell me exactly what the question is.
So they're saying, for somebody to be your friend, do they have to be intricately involved in your life all the time, checking in day to day? Is that what a friendship has to be? Or can it be something else? Because for them...
Okay, you go months without talking, and then when you talk, you pick right up where you can.
Yeah, because for them, they think of their friends as their family. So for them, it's important. Every day. I am the worst. If you need me to check in with you daily, to call you all the time, to be my friend, then I'm not gonna be that person. I'm just not. And most of my friends that have been friends for years, we can go for months and then pick up and nothing has changed. My friends from college, my friends from childhood that I'm still close with. Nicole is probably the only person that I talk to every day.
And that's because work exists.
And no, I would talk to you even if work didn't exist. Because one, you'd be like, bitch, why are you answering this phone? but for me,
but I'm the one that y'all make me share my location with y'all. But I'm the
but for me, a friend does not have to be there for me 24/7. For me, that's not how I define them. It's really for me the quality of the relationship versus the quantity of time that we spend.
Which also ties back to the first question. Is that you as a friend, you don't need the day-to-day, excuse me, for y'all to know or solidify the friendship or whatever. Or what I think the biggest piece is that you said you didn't need them to be there for you all the time. So you would not feel offended if you had trauma in your life and we didn't necessarily show up. You wouldn't feel offended by that.
Because I would have already taken ownership of the fact that I either didn't share it or I didn't want you in the space that way. Because sometimes I want to be more to myself. It just feels more comfortable for me. But I will say though that I have lost friends because I haven't shown up all the time or been as consistent in their day-to-day life. So I know that doesn't work for everyone. So, some people need that attention and connection, to be close. And I think that's okay. I think it's just knowing who you are, and when you would show up.
Yeah. But I've seen you want that. But I think you're not normally as vulnerable as the others sometimes. So, but the one space I saw you vulnerable in is when you hurt your shoulder.
Oh, that was the worst.
Right, and you absolutely was bitching. Not in a good way, you understand what I'm saying? About these motherfuckers I show up, excuse me, I might stop cursing. These people I'm showing up for, ain't nobody called, that you felt some kind of way. So I think it depends on maybe the what it is that they're looking for. Are you needing the day-to-day, or does the friend that comes when you need them the most shows up?
I think that's what I was saying though.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I'm saying they have to.
They were saying, do they have to be involved in your dating life? And I said, no, not for me. I just need them to show up when they show up, to show up.
No, I thought you said earlier, even if they don't show up when I need them.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't necessarily take them off my list.
Right. But I'm saying it does make you feel some kind of way, because I don't want you to give that out. It does make you feel some kind of way at your most vulnerable moment.
It depends on the person. It depends on the person, because some people I just don't expect.
Isn't that the answer for everything? It depends on the moment. It depends on the person. It depends on the situation. Like for me, everything is just gonna depend.
Forever evolving, flowing, and changing.
It all depends. I'm gonna move on, I think. Y'all done? Oh, I just asked a question. Sorry.
Drink!
Auntie Fancy was like challenging me, like, move on.
I think you took some Benadryl.
Why we couldn't answer the question fully though?
I thought y'all was done.
She didn't want to eat. She was bored. She was over it.
She didn't answer the question.
Really was just
she didn't like it.
Like,
she didn't like it. She felt like it was getting too, and she been drinking. How do you get along with you millennium? How do you get along with your millennium daughter-in-law? Oh fuck. Excuse me. Oh shit. Hold on. How do you get along with your millennium daughter-in-law? Ooh, that's a tough one.
I don't think so.
How do you get along
with a millennium? Millennium? What is it?
How do you get along with your millennial daughter-in-law?
For her child. I don't know this.
Daughter or daughter-in-law?
Daughter-in-law.
She's more rational. That's not a good one for us.
Well, first of all, me.
Yep.
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
So, I think that you have, first of all, the commonality is your child. So I think as a mom, and I'm not in this situation, so
we got little kids. We don't have children
that are ready to marry.
Yeah.
Well, you do. So that's, you could really talk about this, but so I'm on the outside looking in. Oh, she is a millennial though, right? Your oldest?
But okay, wait.
So it would be the opposite, right?
I'm being literal,
right? Yeah, that's an inside joke. We're very literal people, and
I'm the most literal person.
So she's like, that question didn't. I wouldn't have a daughter-in-law. I would have a son-in-law. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing.
And so with the wine on top of it, a little slow. I got bless you.
I'm totally on the outside looking in. Right? I have no experience with this. I'm only saying what I think I would do. So technically, none of us are qualified to answer the exact question because we're not in the situation, right?
Move on.
But now you made me forget what I was going to say. So if I think I would find my child is the common person, so I would probably share lots of facts and details about the child and just try to connect with them through my child, or using my child to connect with them. If we didn't have a general connection, we might have a general connection. So that's my answer.
Well, isn't the son a millennial too? So why is the issue that the daughter-in-law is a millennial? I think there's an underlying issue with the daughter-in-law, period, that has not been addressed.
Taylor May said you the attorney. They can tell you the attorney.
I'm just saying.
The underlying.
I'm just saying, because if she's married, if the girl is married to your son, they probably around the same age, right?
Right.
So the same way you relate to the son, it's the same.
I think my rubber band popped.
Oh, there, the top one did.
Oh, Lord.
It looks still good. Okay. Just don't move your head.
You can move your head.
I mean, it sounds to me that
not a lot.
It sounds to me that there's probably some ideas and traditions around marriage that the person who wrote this letter has, and so she may have some communication issues with the millennial because they definitely don't see relationships and things the way we do.
I believe she's trying to say that the millennium child is lazy and doesn't have good work ethic, and it doesn't want to probably serve him or do the traditional things that we were kind of taught to do, and that's offensive
to her.
So, to her, right? So I wouldn't be inclined, based on the question. She kind of was like, well, she don't want to work, or she don't want to cook, she don't want to do all this. Like, what? Oh no, she's entitled. She doesn't want. It's that part.
Yeah, he's a millennial too.
Yes,
hold your child accountable too.
Yeah, but you know, we put more responsibility on the female children, and I'm not saying right or wrong or indifferent, than we necessarily do the male child. So she's looking at, I want a son that's going to be good for my daughter, but I don't want him more stressed out because she don't want to work or whatever. So you got these millennium girls. Sometimes they want the nice things in life, and they want to work, but they may not want to just spend their money necessarily. So that's a whole nother.
But I think the boys are just as, I think the boys have the same issues around being a millennial that the girls do. And I feel like what happens a lot of times is people want to hold the other person accountable and not hold their own child accountable. And that's the missing piece from this. Like, I want to know I don't know why they don't get along. Like, it's hard to answer the question because
I believe the only reason I say that because the millennium part is not about. It doesn't sound like she doesn't. How do you get along with your daughter-in-law? The fact that she put the millennium part in there, she's saying she doesn't like that generation. Which of course, yes, her son may still be in that generation.
And it's trifling.
Yes, but not necessarily because some of our millennium kids. If you go really compare them to some other millennium kids, our kids are a little bit above the curve. Meaning that they are spoiled. I know mine is spoiled.
Our kids aren't millennial though. They're not. Our kids are younger. This is a whole.
Kiara's generation.
Correct.
Well, I mean, it's still the same thing. Like, that's even better. I can speak to it. Yeah, absolutely. She wants to make them. One that can like she definitely is a person who gonna make her own money.
Yeah,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But she also has this old traditional thing in her mind too. Like, but I don't need to spend mine. I need somebody to step up and make sure those things are taken care of. She sees it very, very different. Like that may be that millennial thing, and they don't cater.
Depends on the person.
Yeah, they don't cater
and
as
how they
much.
were raised. Like, what if you were raised by someone, a baby boomer, or the generation before that, if there is one. It depends on if you got an old soul. It's like all of that.
But I also think some of the things that we may see as positives that they kind of have let go are things that probably should have been let go. And so I still have a question about what the problematic things are that make it hard to get along, because she may be overstepping her boundaries as the mother-in-law.
Right.
It could be a whole lot of things in there, but I definitely think the fact that she put the millennial thing in there, it speaks more so to the generation in which
her perception of that generation.
Right. Everything is about everybody.
Right.
And a lot of the trainings I do talk about generation, how to interact with various generations, and it's very different.
Yeah.
How you approach one generation is different than how you approach. Yet and still, it's all the whole nature nurture. How are you inside? How is your soul? And so, I definitely do.
It's like Maslow's hierarchy of need. It talks about if you autonomy versus shame and guilt, and when children are growing up, depending on which one they chose, is depending on how they respond. So yes, you have millenniums, and the whole thing is about I want it now, and the movement however people perceive it, that's kind of how they perceive it. But I think it's a evolving change in the generations, and we just have to sit down and figure it out, and like not always our beliefs are set in stone. Nothing is set in stone.
I think you assume best intentions, and you start, I think, like you said, with the place from love for your child, that they both have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next question,
Can you figure it out?
It's my turn.
Auntie Fancy. Let's see what she got to say. Is it like what she got to say, or she got who pulled it out?
I'm not even gonna answer this question. I'm gonna let y'all have this one.
She snorted.
I know I snort when I laugh. What do you do when your BFF always wants to bring other friends around when you hang out, especially when you don't care for them?
So, real simple for me, because this is real table talk, and I'm a real person. I would have that conversation with them. I'm not a real person. Why you giggle?
I really know.
Oh. Well, really, what? You can say it. Real table talk.
No, she's only saying that because she looking at me because she say I'm the friend who always bring the other friends around.
I don't know why you giggle. So you?
Because I know she's talking about.
Oh, I thought you were giggling because of my answer.
No, she giggling because it's the bitch. It's the helper to my right who do that all the time. So she kind of looked at me like, you ask the question. Oh. She didn't say that, but you go ahead and ask the question.
I'm done.
What she's trying to say is, it should definitely be my questions because she's trying to say that's what I do.
Okay.
But sorry, I don't even know what the question is anymore.
Because she can't do well.
I don't even. I mean that. Go ahead. It's your turn.
What was the question? What happens?
What do you do when your BFF always wants to bring other friends around when you hang out, especially when you don't care for them? And you were and Janae was saying that she would have a conversation with her friend and tell them, right? Mm-hmm. They can't come.
Next, go.
What would you do, Nicole? Bring them heifers and ignore you.
Y'all already know. I'm gonna bring them, and I want everybody to light a candle, and I want everybody to hold their crystal, and kumbaya, my Lord. We're home. I'm probably gonna okay. All shit aside, I still am going to attempt to bridge the gap, and I'm gonna try to always say very positive things about you when I'm with this other person, and vice versa. So at some point, y'all may like each other, and because and then some things is not for everybody. So I can't go on vacation with everybody. That sets the tone of what kind of vacation I'm gonna have. So I get it. I can't bring that person to everything, but stuff that just not really me, I probably still try to.
So I will answer the question. What do you do when your BFF always wants to bring other friends around when you hang out, especially when you don't care for them? You go home. You just say, I don't want to come. You don't have to be around people that you don't want to be around. And then the things that you want to do, you do, and the things you don't want to do, you don't do.
Amen to that. I feel the exact same way.
That y'all would feel like that. I don't agree.
It's my energy and my time. It's valuable. So
it is.
I'm not giving it to everybody.
But Judas was Jesus' best. The best thing that ever happened to Jesus was Judas.
Okay. And he was directed to be around him.
Right. So
and he chose to be around him.
He didn't know. He had to go with it. So I'm just saying you may miss something because you don't want.
I may miss my Judas.
And you don't want to miss him. You don't want to miss your. How many times, I know for me, do I sit in a better space because some betrayal, some act of betrayal has happened, or to then revolve or reinvent myself.
I don't want everything to be hard.
So let's clarify. Let's clarify. You said you have learned a lesson, or something happened positive out of the situation, correct? Out of a betrayal situation.
Always to me.
But you left the situation. You no longer, like that betrayal to me, that word is like something that's over time. But if in the moment, I don't want to be right here, I'm not going to be right here in the moment. Now, but back to me, that betrayal, I have to be around you for an extended period of time for me to feel betrayal. That's what I'm saying.
Well, what I'm saying is, even the worst people you can be around, and it's not always the best situation, but they can bring something very good out of you. So I'm saying the moments that I've had, the harder times that I think about in my life, and now I apply them to where I am, it was always those moments and those things that kind of pushed me and propelled me to go to the next level. Like I wouldn't have, like I got fired from my job. Well, I would have never started a business if that not had happened. So it's almost like every time something like that happens, for me, just for me, I'm birthed even bigger and better every time.
And I think
I don't like it, but
I think that's a magnificent point. But I think that question, she was saying, these are her friends. These are her friends' friends. They're not her friends. And so what she's feeling like is she's being forced to have to interact with people who aren't her people all the time because the friend isn't making time just for them. And I say, I go back to
they make time just for them.
Because she says she always invites the friends every time they get ready to do something.
But she didn't say she didn't make time for them.
Look, you done took the question to 2-3 different places.
Like, you went deep. This question is just like we going to lunch and we don't want her to come to lunch, and you done grew from that because I didn't want to break bread. You did. That was that. I'm just dialing. 60 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to dial it back to the question.
I tried to, and she cut me. No. I'm like, but we not even there.
Right. This is her friend. That's it.
I just don't want to go to lunch with you.
Right.
You're talking about I built a business. I could have owned the restaurant if I would have sat down and ate lunch. I could have owned the restaurant.
I ain't going.
Listen, no.
I ain't going.
Okay. I'm going to apparently that's why we have that. Let's go.
Why are you hanging out with Judas?
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for watching us. You just watched our first 2 episodes of Real Table Talk with Janaea and Deirdre and myself, Nicole. We are so glad that you joined us. We look forward to the rest of the questions. Please, please, please keep sending them in. We love you all. We are so grateful for the multitude of people that we'll be able to touch and reach during this process. So we thank you again. Thank you for coming out. We cannot wait to see you all again at my legs get tired.
Follow us at Real Table Talk LLC on social media.
Set it up. Real Table Talk LLC. Got it.
Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good day.
Cheers.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Real Table Talk podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future episodes.